Once both you and your seller sign the purchase agreement, that agreement officially becomes a legally binding contract, and you go from having a lead to having a deal. But now what? In this video, we'll go over 4 steps to a successful transaction, with one pro tip at the very end, so make sure you stay tuned. The first step is to open up escrow with a title company that is investor and wholesaler friendly. These title companies are all over the place, but if you're having trouble finding one, please DM me on my Instagram and we'll figure it out for you. It's important to use a title company because they do 3 things. They verify the ownership of the property and make sure that it's okay to sell. They also handle all the paperwork and agreements and make sure the transaction is followed properly. And most importantly, they collect and distribute all of the funds according to the agreement. The second step is the title company will give you instructions on how to submit your earnest money deposit, also known as EMD. This payment goes towards the purchase price of the property and shows all parties involved that you're a serious buyer. Oftentimes, a good rule of thumb for EMD is 1% of the purchase price. If you're wholesaling the property, don't worry, you'll eventually get your money back when your end buyer submits their EMD. If you're concerned about paying EMD, don't worry about it. You can use my money. Just click on the link below, fill out the form, and we'll close this deal together. Your EMD is refundable for a time period specified in the contract. I tend to go to 10 to 15 days if it's a 30-day close. This time period that you can get your EMD back is called an inspection period, which is a period allocated towards you inspecting the property to seeing if this is actually a right deal for you. If you decide this deal is not right for you during the inspection period, you can contact your title company, cancel the deal, and get your EMD sent back to you. But I wouldn't do this too often or else you'll gain a reputation of someone who constantly cancels deals. But your EMD might not be refundable if you're doing deals in states like Texas, Utah, and California. States like these require the seller's approval for the EMD to be released back to the buyer. But you won't have to worry about this if you have the right contract, which I'll give you for free in my next video, so be sure to like and subscribe so you don't miss out. The third step is inspecting the property, which can be done at the opening of escrow all the way to the closing of escrow. It's important for the buyer to inspect the property so that there's no surprises at closure and they get a good deal. If you're a wholesaler during this period, you're going to want to start looking for a buyer if you don't already have one lined up. Looking for a buyer during escrow can be pretty stressful because you're racing against the clock. So I recommend having a buyer lined up before you get the deal under contract. Of course, if you're having a hard time finding a buyer or you want to focus on other deals, partner with us by clicking the link below and we'll bring a buyer to the table and get this deal closed. The fourth and final step is closing the deal. The title company will send a notary with the paperwork to both the seller and the end buyer. Once all the paperwork has been signed, the deal is officially closed and the ownership transfers from the seller to the end buyer, and you as the wholesaler gets paid your assignment fee. If all this work seems a little daunting, my pro tip for you is to hire a transaction coordinator. Their job is to make sure the transaction goes smoothly for all parties involved and save everyone a big headache. They focus on the transaction so you can focus on either finding a buyer or finding more deals. If you want to get connected with a transaction coordinator, DM me on Instagram, transaction coordinator, and I'll get you connected with me. And of course, if you found this video valuable, be sure to like and subscribe and comment what you learned.